Hello fellow builders, Crystal Run County welcomes you back to another video. In the last video, our settlers from the east who established the small town of Crystal Rapids contracted the top architect and building contractor from the European town next door of Bir Darul Run to build a beautiful university campus that brings some European themes to Crystal Rapids and elevates it to a beautiful campus which captures the hearts of college students from all over the region. Bir Darul Run wants to bring more convenience to its citizens and lessen the traffic burden on Crystal Rapids by building its very own highway interchange. This will give its citizens direct access to the highway and all that the highway has to offer. In addition, the two towns want to continue their collaboration through a transit venture and construct a state-of-the-art rail line that connects them together, further strengthening their bond and giving citizens of both towns quick access to all the delights each town has to offer. Let's get started. I'm going to build a relatively simple four-way highway interchange here. On the riverside, I'm going to do a more freehand type of interchange, and the other side is going to look like a partial cloverleaf. That should easily handle the traffic volume through this area. I'm also going to destroy the highway and make it a little bit more interesting by adding some more curves and elevation changes. And the interchange is done. It looks pretty good, and in real time it took maybe 20-30 minutes. And I'm going to add some trees and some fencing to make it look a little bit better. And while I do some detailing with the highway and the interchange, let's go ahead and build an elevated train line over the 4-lane road. So we're going to go ahead and just demolish the road first, make sure it's level. It's a fairly easy technique, a little bit of a slow process. And all you really need to do is run a bottom road that's going to be, let's say, 6 to 8 units long. And I'm using the dirt road here. And then right behind it, go 3 up or 4 up to you. And run the elevated road or track a full length, 10 to 12 units. And then from there, I always go out 4 units. You go out far enough to where it shows you the line, and then you back off 1. And that should be 4 units. And then just take note of the cost of that. And then that way you just go out to that cost every time. And it's basically going to be inchworming the road. We're going to run a little bit on the top, then fill it underneath, run a little bit more on the top, fill it underneath, and that will prevent any pillars from landing. I thought about this later, and maybe I'll go back and redo it, but you could ahead of time actually add pillars by using the path. And maybe I'll show that in a different video or new tip of the day. But you have to do that first. You can't do that later. I already built this thing. So I wouldn't really like going back and building it, and it didn't really bother me that this thing is suspended by nothing. Let's use my imagination. And I went ahead and placed the train station right up against the 4-lane road. And now I'm going to go and create the connection. And this is a bypass train station from the content creator pack. And what I need to do now is remove the pillar that I just made by creating that connecting piece. And this is a little bit more tricky. What you need to do is raise the land up around the pillar and then run a road or a piece of track, just depending on what you're doing, that is flat on the ground. So you saw that like curved piece that I used the freeform tool to draw, but it has to be flat. It can't be like suspended. And then remove the dirt away, and then take a piece of straight road or straight track, make a 90-degree angle with the piece of track in this case that's on the ground, and then place it, and then remove the piece that you place. The land will disappear because you already terraformed that away, and then that leaves you with no pillar. That's how you remove a pillar on a curve. This method is very, very easy. It's a nice space saver. It looks cool because you have like the elevated track or elevated road above another road, so you got like a double deck road or a double deck track, something like that. Now we need to build the train station on the other end, and with that train station I'd like to create a nice beautiful office and commercial area. That type of zoning doesn't mind the noise. The train station helps level up the office and also gives people a reason to come here. I'm using the outdoor study from our campus to create a really nice open space. It's great because the campus could use some attractiveness, which that'll provide, as well as it's a really nice, beautiful asset. And the zoning's filled in. This is what it looks like. There's a beautiful view to the train station between this office zoning. I went ahead and created a water retention area with the rocks and some fencing for some rain runoff. There's some parking lots zoned in here. Some beautiful European high density. Both the intercity train and the local line are running really nice. I put several layers of rocks down with some of the bushes and stuff like that to add to the train track. Along the 4-lane road, I used a monorail track as a guardrail. Let's go ahead and take a look at the interchange and the highway. Added some airport fencing around the side and some zoo fencing down the center. I purposely chose the zoo fencing to block the headlights from the opposite side of the highway as cars are trying to get on and off the interchange. And I chose the airport fence to help keep deer and other wildlife off the highway. I also added a monorail track to the highway as guardrails on some of the curves. We're going to bring water into this area because we're going to have the golf course in here. So I added a couple suspension bridges and another spot where I used the monorail track as guardrails, and I added a bunch of stones on the upper level of the highway. And then I have the little turnaround spot just as the end of the county to allow vehicles that don't really want to come into the county make a U-turn and get out. I want to compare the new highway with the old highway and see how it differs. There's another set of suspension bridges on the other side of the interchange, and that's to remind me that I want to run ferry in here. And that's our highway. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our train track. We started this probably the second episode, if not the third episode, right? And we actually get to see some trains driving on it. I think the key looks really cool, especially lined with all the rocks and the vegetation. Just a reminder, if you leave a comment, I'll name something after you in the city. I also had some office, our chirp hot air balloon that just came in the last update. Some more residential CIA building in this area. Our town of Bir Darul Run is looking very good. Now that the train line is complete, the town is looking to attract more visitors, and they're starting to survey and map out a potential ski resort up on the mountainside. So I'll have to check in on their progress in the next episode. And until then, I wish you the best and brightest in the cities you build. And as always, happy building.